Welcome to UK Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yukai Kechidori.
Awesome. Welcome back to another very special episode here on Yokai Business Show. We are so delighted that you would take time to listen to the conversations we are having here. And as always, today is no different. We bring you some of the finest business owners, experts, consultants, and coaches on the show so that they can help you move your business from where it is to where you want to be. In fact, my guest today is going to share with you what is actually working today. Not what used to work 5 years ago, 3 years ago, or even 2 years ago, but what is working today. In fact, that's one of the beauty of these episodes is because we are constantly looking for amazing people that are making huge headway in the world of business, helping people do what they want to do and doing it in style. And today is no different. My guest is going to share with you exactly the step-by-step process of achieving what you want to achieve today. Now, before I introduce our guest here, can I remind you to make sure you are participating in the community. There is a link below this recording here where you will be able to join if you are not yet part of the community, or if you are part of the community, you'll be redirected so you can join and join the conversation that is going. Remember, these conversations, they may be simple, they may lead to a different end goal. In fact, they could change the whole trajectory of your business or even your life. So I highly, highly encourage you to be part of the community. Let's come back to our guest. Thank you so much for joining us here. We're so delighted. I know how busy your schedule is, but for you to take time out of your schedule and be generous with your knowledge, it truly is an honor of mine. Thanks again for joining us here. Now, to get us started, for those who don't know you, or maybe haven't come across the work that you do, would you tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your background, your education, and your experience in this area? Primarily, some of the things that you have done for other people, like business owners in our community. And maybe while you're at it, you could talk about whether you have been an overnight success. I say that with a tongue in cheek because I know there isn't anything of overnight success. If you haven't, what sort of things you've had to do to become an expert in this area.
Thank you for having me today, Vicky Winkler. My company, actually 2 companies, The Marketing Shop and Stillwater Branding and Design. And how did I get started? Well, I have kind of always done marketing. It's always been my thing. I went to college, got my undergraduate degree in marketing management, and then went on to get a master's degree in business and marketing. And my first job out of college was working for one of the big 3. I was working for General Motors. After the General Motors, I'd worked there for a little while. They were launching the Saturn vehicle, the new innovative vehicle that was going to take the world by storm. And that was a very exciting time being part of a startup organization like that, watching the first car off the line, and being part of that whole marketing team in Spring Hill, Tennessee. That was just a really wonderful time, really established a lot of the fundamentals of how I even run my business today. And so after I had come back from Spring Hill, Tennessee, actually I had decided that I wanted to do something more with my life and making an impact. And so I decided to join the Peace Corps, and I was stationed in Nicaragua as a small business consultant and working in a third world country and seeing the types of things that I saw when I was there and the impact I was able to make on these small businesses. When I came back to the States, it had really impassioned me to do something more and to really make an impact in what was going to be my career. And I had then decided I went to work for a nonprofit organization that helps adults with disabilities. I was their marketing manager, and that was a very impactful time for me too. working side by side with these individuals with disabilities, trying to get them jobs in the job market, teach them skills. And after I had done that for some time, then I kind of got that entrepreneurial bug and decided to open up my own business. And that was when I formulated the marketing shop. And I've had that business for 20 years. Started up Stillwater Branding and Design, which is a business division of the other company focused solely on branding. But when I look across the room at my employees and I see that they're happy with what they're doing, our clients are happy, and that we've built not a huge business, but a very successful business because of just what we do and the impact that we're having. And certainly not an overnight success. I've had that company for 20 years. There's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into it. There's been ups and downs, but I feel like we're very successful today and people are enjoying what they're doing. We're having an impact. And it's wonderful to see how it has come along in the past 20 years.
That's brilliant, and thanks for covering that. Now we want to dive deep into talking about the very first step that business owners, those that may be starting from scratch, or those who are looking to reinvent themselves, ought to take to ensure success. And maybe we could talk about the best way for them to take these steps, and if there are any tools or apps they can use to make this very first step easier moving forward. And if we have got enough time, maybe we could just cover a little bit about what they can do to get unstuck in the event that they go stuck on this very first step.
Well, I would say that the first step is one that probably most of us have heard before. It's to have a plan. And the plan doesn't necessarily need to be 100% perfect. It doesn't need to be typed up and look pretty and have 20 copies in everybody's hands. But you do need to think through all the various steps. And it's easy to Google business plan templates and things like that you can download and fill in and kind of go through those steps of what are the important parts of a business. Now, my expertise is in marketing and branding. And so I do feel very strongly that when a business starts that they need to get a logo. They need to have the right name. They need to have the right tagline. And it's important to step back and make sure that you do that right the first time. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to do it right the second time a few years down the road. And not that things can't be tweaked, but I do think it's important to have that step take place before you've really launched into a lot of things, before you've launched your website, before you're starting to produce marketing materials. And that is something that we do with a lot of business owners. And we do it sometimes in the reverse when they haven't had that chance to do it right the first time. And then they're doing it again or rebranding a short time after they've been in business. And so it's important to kind of establish that. I would say too that a part of it is if we're getting a business loan to make sure that you've put some money in the budget for marketing, because marketing is going to have to happen, and you need to at least have something set aside to take part in some of those marketing efforts. And I would say too that if a business isn't ready, to wait until they are ready, and this is the point where you're never 100% ready. But to make sure that you've got some of your own ducks in a row before you get started, I actually am the victim of not doing that. When I had started up a business and I didn't quite have my website done, and I thought, oh, well, it won't take that long. But then I got busy, and then all of a sudden it was a year later before I was actually had the website completely launched and ready. And so I think that you do need to you kind of have to have the basics down before you actually launch the business. And I think one of the biggest tools I would say is asking for help. I know within my community, there is plenty of resources and free resources to help startup business owners. And so again, get to Google and start to search for things and tools. And there's a lot available. And going to networking events and meetings and just starting to talk to people at the chambers of commerce and asking them, hey, I'm thinking of starting up my business. I have no idea what I need to do. And there's a lot of resources that are out there and available. And with regards to how long it takes, I would say this really varies on the individual, but a business could get up and running in 6 months from kind of date of when you decided that that's what you're going to do and getting all those materials together. More likely, it's more like a year, but I know sometimes business owners are a little eager to kind of get started. And I would say, again, just make sure that you have the basics established, and then before you're ready to launch. And the same thing goes for maybe when you're stuck. To get unstuck is asking for help, and also thinking about that next baby step that maybe you could take that would kind of just put you in the right direction. And it can be a small thing, but it's amazing how a small thing can gather so much momentum to kind of get you to the next step. I also have a friend who is a accountability coach. And this is exactly what she does. Is she helps people with those baby steps and keeps them accountable and keeps them moving along. So getting an accountability coach is also a great way to get unstuck.
That's awesome. Thanks. I love how you've simplified things there, and I can see how anybody, pretty much anybody, can apply that step. Now, with that same mindset, let's dive deep and talk about the next step or the second step that they ought to take, and how perhaps we could look at how they can implement this step right now, not later on, but right now in their lives today.
Well, I would say that the second step in the process is to start marketing. You need to get your name out there. You need to determine who your target audience is and figure out how you're going to get to them. Most cases, it's a combination of things. It might be local advertising, radio, television. A lot of times, almost all the time, social media is part of that. A website, a blog, a podcast. There's all different types of ways to get the word out, and every business is going to be different. But to make sure that you are, as I said earlier, allocating something in your budget to make sure that you are doing those steps and having some money set aside for marketing. And for some businesses, most businesses too, I would say that networking can be a huge asset when it comes to promoting your business. I'm a huge advocate of networking. I'm involved in many networking groups and power teams and masterminds. And that's a great way to get community around you to kind of help you and find those people who are going to be out there helping sell for you simply because you have a referral relationship, reciprocal relationship with them.
Wow, this is incredible. I love how you're simplifying these secrets, these systems, and these steps for everybody to apply today. Now, before we jump on to talk about the third steps, I want to talk to Bill in our audience today and anybody listening for that matter. Remember what we always talk about on this show, never to leave a place of discovery without scheduling when you're going to apply what you're learning today. The reason for that is if we don't schedule it, we will not do it. So I'm hoping that you are scheduling mentally if you're out on the run or maybe you're driving your car or whatever you may be doing. Just make a mental note. When are you going to apply one of the steps that you have learned today? And because it is so small or very simple, that doesn't mean it's not going to bring tremendous results. Remember, it is the small hinges on a door that swings massive doors. So it will be just one of these amazing steps we are learning today that could open incredible opportunities for you. Well, let's go back and talk about that very third step. And maybe we could talk about it from a place where somebody has tried it and they have failed and they're feeling like they cannot do it anymore or they cannot start again anymore, and they're stuck. How can they get started again?
So the third step is really, this is kind of where the rubber hits the road. When you are starting to either provide your services, produce the product that you're producing, you're getting out there, you're actually making some sales. If you're an online business, sales are starting to come in and you're starting to kind of figure out what works and what doesn't. And this is the point where I feel important to start thinking about getting down those policies and procedures, writing down, typing up, putting together what will become more of a manual for your business as to the steps that you take in a process of making a sale, implementing a program, providing the service. Kind of writing down those steps can be really important for you to kind of see what's working and what's not. And it's also important as you begin to grow and train other people that you can have these policies and procedures in place, because it's really hard to do it 10 or 15 years later. And I think there's a lot of value in doing that, in kind of having those procedures already in place.
Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Thank you again for that. This is incredible. Let's talk about the tools, because in my own experience, I've discovered that there are amazing tools out there that simplify the whole process. In your experience, based on what you know and helping many people in this area, are there specific tools that you recommend that business owners can apply today? And if their website, maybe you could mention those ones so that people can go there straight away and find this content to help them become what they want to be and reach those goals here today.
I think that there's a number of tools that is good for business owners to use, especially when you're in that beginning stages of establishing your business. I think one is to keep organized. Find a different ways that you can keep organized. Some people still like to have things written down. Maybe they like to write lists, but to have an electronic type of management system, like Trello, there's different ones out there. I know in our office we use Trello, and it's a great way to keep organized, keep the tasks, who's working on what needs to be done. So I think any business needs to kind of keep things organized so you know what's going in, what's going out, what do you need to do every day. And that's, I know one of the things I do, the first thing I come in the office is I will write physically down whatever are the key tasks that I know need to happen that day. And I encourage my employees to do the same thing, just to kind of make sure they're always on task and keeping on track each day. I think another important thing too is to hire out when you need to. There's a lot of small business owners, you may go into business because you have an expertise in a certain area. That expertise is not accounting. And if it's not marketing, then those are the types of things that I, early on in my business, was given that piece of advice. And I was trying to do my QuickBooks myself and my taxes myself. And they said, no, you need to just hire an accountant. And that person will take care of those things so that you can focus on growing your business. When it comes to marketing, which is something that our company does, is to hire out graphic design. Most times business owners do not have graphic design degrees. And so it's important to hire out professionals that know how to do that. Again, to not have someone designing your logo that doesn't have some experience in that, because you want things to look professional. You want when they see your business and they see the image you're portraying, that it's professional and it's top notch, because that will allow you to raise the prices of what you're offering. And so it will be worth the money that you invest in those types of things. And I think that I mentioned earlier, networking is, I think, very important. I'm involved in quite a number of networking activities and events. And that's just a great way. You just never know that person that you're going to meet that's going to take your business to the next level. I have all kinds of stories of people that I have met through networking. Recently, there was an individual that someone had mentioned to me, oh, Vicky, you need to talk to this person because I know that they really need your services. And so I kind of put it out there, and with people in my networking circle, I said, hey, do you know this individual? And we had so many different people who were connected to this person that we needed to meet. And they were telling her that she needed to meet with me. And so we have actually a meeting set up next week to meet with her. And so that was all through the networking, that people I knew, people that I was connected with, that were connected to her, that are able to then connect the two of us together to have a situation that will be mutually beneficial for both of us. And I think that one other tool would be just to continue to try different ways of marketing. You will find that certain things are going to work for you and certain things aren't. And sometimes it takes doing them. Maybe it's sending a direct mail postcard and then, oh gosh, you do that a couple times, you get no responses. Well, I would say then move on to the next thing. Maybe try to incorporate more social media. Maybe it's other kinds of advertising. Maybe again, it's more networking, more events, more expos. So keep just trying a variety of things. Don't giving up because the first one doesn't work, because there's always some way that will work.
Thank you. I'm certainly going to check out one of those tools myself. If not, my team will be checking that out, because I think tools simplify life for busy people like you and I, and I'm sure Bill in our audience will be doing the same thing. Now, moving on, I've discovered personally in my own journey as an entrepreneur that mindset plays a huge part in any area that you go into. In your opinion, having helped hundreds of people again, what sort of mindset that, to a certain degree, virtually guarantees success in applying these very steps we've been talking about?
Well, I would say this answer is kind of easy for me because it's my whole philosophy, which is to not have regrets. So as a business owner, you're going to be faced with a lot of things, a lot of decisions to make where maybe you're not quite sure, should I be doing this? What's the next move? Is this the right decision to be making? And I would encourage people to sleep on it overnight. Think about it. Maybe it'll take a few days to think about it, but really ask yourself, if I didn't do this, will I regret it? And I think in my business, our business has changed a lot over the years. And it's because I have always tried to have that mindset of, well, gosh, now, if we didn't try this, will we regret it? Will we be thinking years down the road, wow, we should have talked to that individual. We should have pursued that line of business. And so sometimes it's hard to know, but I think that if all of us in those quiet times were able to really look at a decision and say, will I regret if I don't do this? Then you'll get that answer and you'll know what you need to do.
Awesome. Thanks for that. And now, as we come toward the end of our time together here, and I know we have covered a great deal of information and strategies and steps that anybody can apply today, especially Bill in the audience here today. Is there anything that I haven't asked you about how to get started and how to do this very well that you would love to share with everybody before we wrap up?
The one thing I would say kind of in closing is that it's important that when times get tough, that you keep going and keep persevering. And of course, I think a lot of us have been through that recently through the COVID experience. And I know in our business we did too. I think one of the things I'm so grateful for is that when the shutdown started to happen for us, that my employees looked to me and they said, Vicky, don't worry, we're going to get through this. And they all just did whatever, and we all did whatever we needed to do to get through that. And even in my business now, and it has over the years, there's been ups and downs, and there's been times where I have thought, gosh, I don't know, is this going to be a business that's still going to continue to thrive? And the toughest times that we have been through have resulted in the greatest times of growth for us. So when we go through those tough times, it forces us to dig our heels in and really look at our business and say, okay, well, what do we got to do here? And we've lost clients. And then on the tail end of that, a new window has opened and we've gotten clients that have been bigger and better than the last one. And it seems in our business that always happens because I think it forces us to really think hard about what we need to do. And we find successes on the other end.
Absolutely outstanding. Thank you so much for such a great interview and for your generosity in sharing what is working in your life today and what is working in other people's lives today with my audience here today. And would you share with everybody how they can connect with you? Maybe it's your website or even it's your social media, because I know there will be people in the community here that would love to learn further and can carry on from what we have started talking about here today. So please give everybody the best way to connect with you today.
So we actually have two websites for our business. The first is www.tms.marketing. So that's T as in Tom, M as in Mary, S as in Sam, .marketing. And there is no .com in the end. And so on our website, we show our clients a little bit about the products and services that we offer, as well as a nice portfolio of some of the work we've done. It's not all of the work we've done because we've done so many things over the years. But it's just a nice place to kind of be able to look at the things we do and kind of get started and contact us, for people that are looking for additional help. We also have our branding website, which is stillwaterbranding.com. And this is a fairly new website for us, and it will walk you through, again, the portfolio, some of the things we've done, kind of our branding process. And there's some nice success stories. We're adding more. We're in the process of adding more success stories, but just to kind of take you through some of the brand stories that we have and what we've been able to do. And so there's a lot of valuable information on that site as well.
This has been outstanding, and I cannot thank you enough for your generosity and how you've been so selfless in helping people with the right steps they need to take today. Would you share with those listening here that are not yet participating in the community, Yokai Business community, how you're going to be helping them in there? I know there will be people with questions that will be looking for real answers and solutions, maybe services or products from you. And by the way, before you do that, I want to remind everybody that at the bottom of this recording, there will be a link that you can click on it and you'll be taken directly into our community where there is a lot of activities going on there. Many different guests that we've had are already participating in there. They're helping people with the questions and answers that they may have right now. And again, thank you for helping me on this mission of helping the business owners in our community thrive. And as we always say, when a student is ready, a teacher will appear. And I know you've been our great teacher here today for so many people. Until next time, live well, live with passion, know that the best is yet to come.
Thank you for listening to Yokai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yokaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.